Since the beginning of this year, there's been this moody goth girl in our class called Raylan Stout, or as she demands to be called, Raven. She didn't have many friends, and she got bullied for being a freak by nearly everyone at school. I didn't dislike her, but I also didn't care for her either, so I mostly kept to myself and hung out with my friends. I never planned to have anything to do with her, but fate had plans to bring the two of us together. For one of our class projects, we were to take part in a special program called swapping. In it, for 1 month, 2 people would switch bodies so they could experience life from another person's perspective. I'll give you one guess as to who I got paired up with. Yep, Raven. It was bad enough that I had to be a girl for a month, but of all the girls it could be, it had to be Raven. I was so annoyed, especially since the swaps are kept hidden and we're not supposed to say who we swapped with. I would have skipped this class if it hadn't been a decent chunk of my overall grade. So that day, I went to school as me and left as a tiny goth girl. At first, I hated the change. I was small and weak, and I was wearing a long frilly black dress with heels. After school, I had to make my way home. Well, to my temporary new home, which to my surprise turned out to be quite large, like mansion-sized large. It even had a gate that needed a code just so I could get in. Luckily, they had us write down all the information that the other person would need to live as them, so I was able to look in this notebook and get the code. Once inside, a butler took my bag from me and told me he'd take it up to my room. I kept the notebook with me, that way I could see what I was supposed to do. I was a little surprised to see it said, go take a shower and get changed, and not, go say hi to your parents. But I figured they probably weren't home, so I just went and found the shower. As soon as I walked into the bathroom, several maids were inside waiting. I didn't know what was going on, and before I knew it, they were helping me undress. I was too embarrassed and just let them do it, and then ran into the shower the first chance I got. Washing myself was embarrassing, so much so that I did it with my eyes closed. Somehow, even though I was in the body, it still felt a bit wrong. I finished up, and the maids not only dried me off, but also put me into another long black dress. I wanted to ask them for something else, but I had the feeling that they were angry with me. Plus, they told me that dinner was ready, and I was quite hungry. Honestly, this body felt as though it hadn't eaten at all today. I was led downstairs and sat at a long table across from what I assume were Raven's parents. Neither one looked at me, let alone spoke to me, and I was too nervous to do it myself. When dinner came, I was served a salad, while Raven's parents ate what looked like lobster. It looked so good, and I wondered why I didn't get one. Was Raven a vegetarian or something? I looked down at the salad. If that were the case, no wonder why I felt so hungry. Our school doesn't give out lunches that accommodate them. It was actually something several parents had been fighting for, but if that was the case, why didn't she bring her own lunch? Even though I was her, I had no way of actually knowing, and I was too hungry to think about it much longer. So I began to eat the salad, and I thought I was doing it normally, but when I looked up, both of Raven's parents looked at me with disgust. My anxiety shot through the roof, but I managed to ask them what was wrong. Raven's dad said something about teaching me better, by which I guess he meant Raven, and her mother said it was bad enough that I dressed like a cultist, but to embarrass them in front of the staff by using the wrong fork was beyond disrespectful. I felt myself tearing up, which was weird, as why did I care about what they said? Perhaps it was how this body normally reacted to them, which felt really sad. Luckily, before the tears fell from my face, the butler came in and reminded them about the swap. Both of them looked relieved and said something about me just being some peasant and not actually their daughter. They then proceeded to completely ignore me, which I had a feeling wasn't because I was the stranger in their daughter's body. After dinner, I went to Raven's bedroom and did my homework. Then I checked the notebook she left to see if there was anything I was supposed to do. In it, the only thing she mentioned before bed was to write in her diary. I didn't know why she wanted me to write in her diary, but she put it in the notebook, so maybe she's supposed to be doing it? Not doing it because she wants to? So I opened it up and flipped to the first empty page. When I got to it, I found a message from Raven to me in it. It read, "Hello, current operator of my body. I know it's a bit weird, but you don't mind filling out this journal each day with your experiences as me. I would really appreciate it." I shrugged. I'm sure she had her reasons, probably some weird ones, but it was a simple task. So I did just that. My first entry read, "This is my first time writing in a diary, so I guess I should introduce myself to you, Raven. My name is Medwin." I have to admit, this whole thing is super bizarre. I was surprised to see you live in such a nice house. I'm sure my small house probably makes you feel claustrophobic. Once I got here, I followed your instructions and went to shower. I wasn't expecting to be undressed by other people, and I have to admit, I'm too embarrassed to open my eyes while showering, so I apologize if I didn't clean your body properly. After that, I went and had dinner with your parents. I think I made them mad. I used the wrong fork to eat a salad. I didn't even know it mattered. But the look they gave me was quite unsettling, at least until your butler told them about our swap. Then they just ignored me, which was actually much better. Are they always like that? Is that how parents are? I guess I wouldn't know since I was raised by my big sister, but honestly, I was only with them for a little while and it felt quite cold. I had to stop myself. I was writing so much, and I had no idea why. I'd never spilled my thoughts like that before. It was surprisingly nice, but I didn't really want to spill my guts for this girl to be able to read and maybe use against me once we swapped back, so I closed the book and headed to bed. I just had to make it 29 more days, then I'll get my body back and be able to forget this whole thing. But as I drifted to sleep, I couldn't get Raven out of my mind. Would I really be able to forget about her after this month ended? So the video is over. Gone too soon. Wait, what am I talking about? What's going on? Oh right, the end of the video. Hey there, welcome. If you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a comment. I always try to respond. I actually really like doing so. So go down there, type whatever it is you feel, do it in emojis if you have to. Anyway, thanks for stopping by.